So, if you want to hear my opinion on these books, keep watching. Hey guys, welcome to today's video. In today's video, we're going to be doing like my reading hot takes, I guess. So, like ones that I think are underrated, overrated, and then just like some of my all-time favorite books. Just cause like, why not? And we have our matcha. These are all like in a random order. They're not necessarily first, overrated, underrated. Like it's just, I've just put them in a stack. Yeah, let's go ahead and get started. This one, I think personally underrated because everybody talks about the movie. Read the book. I think it did a good job, but there's just something about reading it that really changes it. So book, underrated. Ooh, Madison Beer's the half of it. I swear I don't see anybody talk about this book. And like, I know book talk is a thing. I'm not on it because I don't have TikTok. Like, I know it's a thing. I feel like if I had TikTok and everyone was talking about how bad this book was, I would start to think it was bad too. It's kind of nice reading it without anyone else's opinion about it. So then I could kind of like form my own opinion about it and then I'm gonna share it. I think this book is so underrated. Madison Beer, but she gets so much hate just because she's so pretty. Yes, she is pretty, but like she's so much more than just a pretty face, and you get to read that in this book. Reading this book, like it literally felt like I was on a FaceTime. I swear, you need to read it. It's so good. Oh my god, Underneath the Sycamore Tree, also underrated. What if I post talking about how good this book is and then everyone is like, this book sucked? I'll be like, oh, I kind of liked it. Am I supposed to talk about what they're about? Maybe I should start doing that. It's this girl who her twin sister had passed away. She has the same sickness, no cure for it. Underrated. Nobody talks about this. I don't know. I feel like they had talked about some harder stuff in this. Read this. It kept me entertained. I cared about the characters, especially for being a sad book. This left me sobbing. Underneath the Sycamore Tree. Oh, okay. I put like 3 of my all-time faves in there because like I just want to talk about them. So, a classic. Everyone's book journey has to start with this book. It's just a classic. How can you not? Lucy and Joshua, they are enemies. Can you guess by the title? They work in the same place and they're both competing for the same job. It's like Grumpy Sunshine. This book was the first book I truly loved. He needs a date to this wedding. Guess who accompanies him? Or if you care, and if you don't care, like just listen. But oh my god. There's a scene when they're both in the elevator and they're like staring and then they just like look at each other and they start like making out. And then after that, they're kind of like, wait, what is this? Like, why? Why did I kind of like that? Like, and then like they just have like a moment. And then after that, like they're still enemies though, but like there's still something underlying between them. One of my all-time faves. Next, oh, another all-time fave. Oh, okay. The Spanish Love Deception. A comfort book for me. I had to pick one comfort book. The Spanish Love Deception. Workplace, enemies to lovers, as usual. She needs a date to a wedding. They fly out to Spain and like he has to pretend to be his date, but they hated each other. So she was kind of like, okay, why do you want to come to a wedding with me? These sound kind of like the same thing, but each of their plots are also so different. I know these are like basic, but they're the most comforting to me, like on a personal level. They're basic for a reason, okay? Okay, next, oh, my like dislike for it just keeps on growing. Overrated. 10 million overrated. And I'm sorry if you enjoy this book. Like that's great for you. But for me, I don't know if it's because I was in a book slump or just because like I genuinely did not care about the characters. I'm sorry. Okay. This might come as a shock to some people. I'm sorry, but it's a little bit overrated. But I don't know if it's like murder mysteries aren't my thing, but I feel like that's not true because I love murder mystery. I love a good murder mystery. So, Case, I thought it was boring. I thought it was like, oh, this girl died. Who? I wonder who it could be. Just overrated. Like, it was still a good book, just overrated. And low-key, the show is overrated too. Like, I understand a cheesy show, and I understand like falling into that. Like, I love cheesy shows like that. Like, you know what I mean? But this was just outrageous. Just because this is the first book, so like nothing really happened in it, which is why I thought it was boring. Overrated. Beautiful. Beautiful. It was gorgeous. It was beautifully written. Everything about this, poetic. Okay, so to talk about what it is about. So Adam is his name, and then the girl's name is Olive. This was a grumpy sunshine fake dating trope. He was such a good boyfriend in this. I love this book. Underrated. I personally think this is underrated. I loved Twisted Hate. This was my favorite out of all 3 of them. So underrated. Everyone always talks about Twisted Games and how that one's their favorite. The plot was interesting. It was good. Like, I cared about the characters, and I felt like I never really cared about the characters in the rest of the series. Like, I found it entertaining, but it wasn't like I cared about the characters. But this one, I really did. Just because they were cute together. Like, I don't understand. I'm just a sucker for enemies to lovers. So, underrated. So underrated. Okay, here we go. Overrated. I literally read this expecting to be sobbing at the end. No reaction. Light work, no reaction to this book. It was just so boring. I was bored when I read this. Like, I was like, ugh, I need to get this over with. So overrated. It was, oh, another overrated. Understood why I was so obsessed with it. Like, whenever Colleen Hoover was like trending, I totally understand why I was obsessed with it. I read this book and I actually like didn't know what was going on, and I was so bored. This is the first book I read like when I got into reading. I was so confused and I was bored. I remember nothing from this book because like I just didn't feel anything. Again, thought I was gonna cry because I knew how this ends. Didn't like how he wrote their romance. Like, I just did not like this book. Like, you're a man. Anyways, yeah. Oh, okay. I'm kind of scared to talk about this. I think everything is just so overhyped because then I expect so much more than like when I finally read them. I know this is not the whole series, but that's because I think it's overrated. Dystopian, this girl has like powers, whoever she touches dies, and then there's like a war going on. And the main bad guy is like the love interest, which I love that part. And I would still recommend it because I know other people will like it, but for me personally, it was just like missing something. Next, underrated, again, another movie. Okay, let me explain. The girl has been like in love with this guy since they were like in kindergarten, and she was like obsessed with him, and he was like, ew, like you're weird, why are you stalking me right now? All I've ever wanted is for Julie Baker to leave me alone. And Julie, it says, one look at Bryce Losky and I became a lunatic. Look what it says. But all those years I liked him, I never really knew him. And then for him, once he realized that Julie kind of was like becoming distant, he was like, but there was no going back. I liked her. Oh my god, the sycamore tree. Don't even get me started on the sycamore tree. Spoiler, if you care, again. This tree that she climbs every day and she loves gets cut down, and she's like crying. She's like, no, don't cut it down, don't cut it down. Whatever, they cut it down and she's like really upset about it. At the end of the book, spoiler, plants her a sycamore tree. I didn't really need to ask though, and he knew he didn't need to answer. I could tell from the shape of the leaves, from the texture of the trunk, this was a sycamore tree. I appreciated the movie, like I thought it did a good job, but the book, it's just better, okay? Underrated. Okay, another underrated one. I don't ever see anyone talking about it. Why do I only have, oh yeah, it says Brendan was home. That was the guy. And I was like, oh my god, this is so cute. I need to tab this. But yeah, underrated. Another like small town, he's small town. And then she's like this pop star who her dad sent her to like his old hometown, I'm pretty sure. So her and her sister went back to this old town, which is like fishing. And so he like hates her at first because he's like, a pop star, like that's so annoying. Why are you here? But she's grumpy sunshine, of course. They literally love each other. This is one of the books where I can like look at them and say they love each other. Nothing happened. Literally nothing happened in this book. I swear. I was reading the same thing, just different like words the whole time. Girl who was in prison, she like returns to the town where all went wrong, hoping to reunite with her daughter. Overrated. I'm sorry. Okay, I didn't even finish. I read 10 pages and I was like, I can't do this. The American Roommate Experiment. I love Elena Armas. Sorry. Friends. These girls are two friends. But basically, she was having writer's block, as one does, obviously. And so he was like, hey, I can help you. I can help spark some like inspiration. So he took her out on a bunch of dates. So adorable. They fell in love. It was so cute. I love this one. He was so cute. I remember there was a scene when they were like, he took her out on like a cooking date and they were like cooking pizza together. This man, like in my head, like, this girl's lucky. Literally words on a paper. But yeah, this book is so underrated. I swear, everyone talked about The Spanish Love Deception and nobody talked about the rest of, like, nobody talked about this one, I swear. Okay, then this is a very special honor. The only book from Colleen Hoover that I genuinely enjoyed reading and genuinely still care about. I don't know what the whole situation was with like Colleen's son and like this other girl and like a bunch of stuff. Of this book, Heartbones, the girl Bea, she comes from a life of poverty. The guy, Samson, he comes from family of wealth, okay? They go into like the summer house and they have like a little fling. Spoiler, he ends up going to jail, but like she waits for him like for like 5 years, or like them meeting again after like 5 years of being in jail. Oh my god, I was like crying. Sorry, I was like in my emo phase. I still am in my emo phase, cause like who isn't? There was like a bunch of little stuff that like stood out. Like I remember there was like this dog that they found and they like named it. They named it like Pepper Jack Cheese or something like cringe like that. But it was still so good. So I guess those were my reading hot takes. I don't want to say hot takes because like I feel like it's not that big of a deal what I'm saying. They're just like normal opinions. So I don't know. But yeah, that is the end of this video and I hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you guys next week.